Hey guys, I'm back with September faves. This is probably going to be a shorter video this month. I had a lot of health and a lot of hospital appointments that kept me quite busy, and also I started doing readings this month, which has been superbly fun. I'm going to jump straight in with Tarot of the Pagan Cats. I'm loving this deck. I'm loving it so much that it's actually moved from in here, which is my room where I keep everything, to into the bedroom by the bedside table. And I really don't often, I have kind of a little altar by the table with my diffuser. Sometimes I put some crystals on there, but I don't really have decks on there unless I'm really poorly and I'm kind of bedbound. But this has been coming everywhere with me in its little baggie. I haven't really got any, I just get drawn to decks. I don't have any specific reason or anything fascinating to tell you other than I'm really enjoying it. As I've said before, I really find that the animal and nature decks speak to me, and I get a lot more messages through than some of the human ones. Aside from, I'm trying to think, I really love the bonfire. But generally I'm an animal and nature kind of gal. I've been loving this. I'm going to pop that there. Oh, slidey. Because I've been offering readings, I've been matching up my decks because of this. And in matching them up, this is the Lavish Earth Crystal Affirmation deck. I've actually got time to spend with this. Most of you will know that I had a birthday in August, and because of the influx of decks, whilst it was awesome, it's now having some time to come around to using them properly one by one and really getting to know them. I love this deck. Even when people are buying a 1-card energy reading, you always get a minimum of 2 cards, and basically what I do is I pull the crystal card, but I'm loving that I can build affirmations from the keywords, some of the crystal energies, the quote, and I'm using these now quite a lot more frequently for myself because I don't want to post the same deck all the time on Instagram and bore my followers. I've not been sharing them as much, but I'm loving this, and the fact that I can work with crystals that I genuinely just don't own. But how good do these decks look together as well? And I know that that's not the be all and end all, but I'm quite matchy anyway as a human outside of tarot. I like things to match, and they've brought me a great deal of joy together. They have been 2 of my absolute favourites. I'm going to move them over here and I will tidy up later. Along with, of course, my little baggie that I keep the cat deck in. Next deck is the Shaman Wisdom cards. I've done a couple of readings with these, including a 3-card, and again, I really love the way that the messages come through in this deck. And when I'm doing the readings, I'm obviously encompassing some of what comes in the book, because with these in particular, maybe not the others, you kind of need the book, but there's so much more that you can get from these cards. Feminine, full, adult, earth, and you start to see synchronicities as well. This deck, it really pairs well with tarot, because if all of a sudden you see water with willow and then you pull a cups card, you can really see what energy's coming through. Or even if you get something of the opposite, you can kind of understand, okay, there's a dynamic going on here. Plus, I love this deck because of the mixture. It's got animals, plants, minerals and crystals, whatever you want to call them, directions, astrological signs. And the feminine and masculine. I really adore this deck. As you can see, it's very shiny. But this cardstock is old school US Games cardstock, and despite being superbly glossed, I don't know when they stopped doing this, because at least my copy's very old. I've had it since I was younger. it doesn't stick. The gloss doesn't stick at all. And actually these cards, I don't want to say they're infallible because, you know, next time I come on I'll be like, I've ruined one. But they have held up really well. And the little white book is pretty awesome. Next up, I've got the medicine cards. I've been really crushing on these. I'm sure that you've all seen these. These are one of my, what I would call my soul decks. I've been working with this deck since I was a child, way before my teens. I grew up with this deck, so I love it. I still haven't got a backup of it, and I still haven't added the extra cards. I plan to. I haven't decided what 9 animals I want yet. I'm going to stick my cat on one of them because I want a picture of her in one of my decks. I think that's going to be amazing. I love the messages in these, and I've been really, really drawn to animal energy this month as well. It's October now, but in September especially. But I think that it's something that's going to carry on through the year. I'm quite an animal energy person anyway. I find it easier to engage with than, say, goddess, god, any other kind of energies that you may call into your practice. Mine tends to reside around animals. And obviously, oh, I've dropped a card, and the crystals. The other deck that I've been working with a lot is the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit for the same reasons. I really adore this deck. Obviously, if I had to pick, I say obviously like you've watched my other videos, you might not have, then I would pick this one. But fortunately, I don't have to pick. It's a gorgeous deck. It feels completely different to this one. However, what I do like is that if there are corresponding animals in both, whilst the messages aren't exactly the same, this guidebook is still really, you kind of need this guidebook if you're getting the deck. It's much shorter in content, much shorter than the medicine cards, but they sing the same tune for the animals. So it doesn't feel like, okay, well, does it mean this or does it mean that? For a lot of the animals, I kind of go off of my own knowledge of them and my intuition as well nowadays, just from studying the medicine cards so much. But I do still take the book into consideration from time to time, especially if a message, an animal pops up that maybe I'm not used to pulling. The main difference between the two, apart from the artwork, is that this one has mystical animals in with spirits, and it's also got elements on the top of it, which I really like to work with. And someone who has just won one of my giveaways is about to get a hopefully very cool elemental reading with this. If you're interested in the elemental reading, it's actually on the Wild Unknown website, because it's not one of the ones in the book, which is a bit frustrating because it's for the deck. And I already checked with Kim, and she's totally fine for people to use the spread. And if you do obviously use it and share it, even if you're reading for others, she's happy for you to do so. But obviously if you do share it on media, then to hashtag Kim Crans. And I thought that was really cool of her, because I do like to message and check. One of the things that I've been doing to kind of develop my experience of the animals is I've actually been watching a lot more animal TV programs of them in the wild and doing their stuff, trying to avoid killing because it makes me sad, but aside from that, and also starting to dip into this huge chunk. It's, if anyone doesn't have this book and you like animal messages, I'm going to have to move these because there's not enough room, then it's 100% worth getting. The medicine card book and this book, to me, obviously this doesn't come with a deck, but the medicine cards is worth having for the book, and it's just got so much information in it. And I like to have several resources for the animals in case one is missing. What I did notice is cheetah isn't in here, which was, they're not going to cover every single animal, but cheetah wasn't in here, and I'm yet to find information other than in the Wild Unknown about the cheetah. So that was a little sad. But yeah, this book is awesome. It's going to take forever to get through it. But I know a few people have been interested in it. And because I've been looking at it a lot, I just wanted to give it a mention. And then the medicine cards book, which for each animal, as you can see, so much juicy information. But this book is, I'm really going to need a backup copy. Look how loved it is. It's freaking awesome. It's got contrarian, it's got these lovely little poems as well. Between the two, and obviously with a little bit of this to boot, that's kind of been, I've kind of been studying, I guess, this month in line with preparing to offer readings. So I've also been going back into studying some of my tarot books. I like to have a balance of knowledge in my brain as well as my intuition. And I know that they're very, very different, these three books, but the three books that I have been reading, and basically when I say reading, I genuinely mean like not reading when I pull cards, just sitting about and casually reading the meanings, picking a card and reading them in all three to get a very diverse picture in my mind, and then looking at all the artwork and seeing what intuitive hits I get that's not in here and really collating that together in quite a healthy process as well, not sitting down and making myself read. I like this book, by the way, so if anyone's wondering, that's one of my beginner recommendation books. There are others out there, but that's one of them. That's kind of what I've been doing this month. My last deck, last but not least, and also this is my worry stone that I got in one of my witch caskets, and I've paired it up with my I Am Power deck. I can't remember if I felt drawn to pair it up or that it was just because they're both a similar colour, but since every time before I get the deck out I find myself, I mean it's a great palm stone anyway, I genuinely don't know what it's made out of. Unfortunately it didn't say, so I can't tell you, but it's very pretty and very smooth. The I Am Power deck is, again, I've pulled it out because I have been pulling myself, and I've been doing this for months actually, so really this should have been in my other videos. I pull myself about 5 cards at the beginning of the month. I usually do this as well as pulling a monthly forecast card though. But I pull 5 cards, don't ask me why that particular number, and they're my affirmations for the month, and I either leave them out on my altar, or if I've got other cards on there or something altogether, my altar space isn't that big, then I take a picture of them and I come back and try and reaffirm and focus on those affirmations for that month in particular, because it's a very affirmative and helpful and supportive deck. But I've also been using this a lot again in the readings that I've started offering people. More than anything, I just absolutely adore having this deck. It's nice, it gets to the point, like that's what I want. I want affirmations, I want powerful affirmations, I want colours, especially that I can link to chakra. Again, I've been doing lots of studying this month. Maybe that's why I've been quieter and had less decks about. Because I've been doing the animal stuff, the tarot stuff and the chakra stuff. Lots of studying. One other thing I'll say, oh look, it's popped up. It was really interesting working with this deck for other people as well as myself, because there are certain cards in this deck, like this little devil, and since owning the deck, it's never ever come out for me, not once. And not because I can't see fertility in lots of different wonderful abundant ways, but clearly the deck's like, nope, she's not gonna like it, let's not give it to her. But I actually pulled this in a reading from someone else, and it felt really good that it was like, okay, I was quite nervous about doing readings. It felt like a nod that yes, I'm not just pulling random cards and them meaning nothing. Not in my whole time of owning this deck, including the fact that I did a 100-day challenge with this deck where I pulled a card and took a picture of it every day for 100 days. I've never pulled that card for myself ever. So yeah, it was quite nice. It felt quite reaffirming in itself. Let's see what cards we've got. I am complete. If you're watching and listening to me ramble, there's your affirmation. That's it for decks and books. Oh, I will tidy up after. This lovely is also one of my favourites, and I wanted to show you guys because people have been crushing on it since I posted. This is a wooden crystal grid that I bought from the lovely Copper Moon. That's her name on Instagram and the name of her Etsy. And this is an abundance grid. We've got some tiger's eye as the main focus. Prosperity and abundance, I think this is. This is citrine, and for the life of me, why can I not remember what this is? Really can't remember, unfortunately, but this is my gorgeous crystal grid. I've always wanted one. I wanted to learn about it, and she sent me some little bits of information with it as well, so that I can get to learning and not just have crystals because they're so pretty. Sage, I'm back to white sage and smoking the place out to the point where I've had to open all the windows because I couldn't get it to go back out. Not this one, my huge one. I've been loving white sage this month. It just really soothes me. There is one more thing that I want to show you after the fact that I show off. Yeah, I know it's the tiniest little piece of artwork ever, but I've always done art, and since my back went, I haven't been able to do. I've got all these gorgeous adult colouring books from all over the world. Particularly my favourite ones are from Sweden and Poland, and I can't colour them because I can't sit for long enough. But I managed to do this as part of my chakra learning process, which was quite fun. And last but not least, bear with me and I will be back and I will bring it to you. Here's another wooden beauty which I bought at the same time of this. These are belated birthday presents. So excited. And again, handmade by the lovely Copper Moon. Her name's Kate, by the way. Feels a little impersonal just calling her Copper Moon. And it's a tarot? It's a tarot or crystal, or really whatever you want it to be, but display shelf. How cool is that? Usually a piece of sage and some other crystals and stuff are in there, but I mix it up. I do what I want with it, basically. I've seen some people stand their essential oils in it, which is a great idea. If I get more, I will be doing that. But yeah, how cool is this? And it's so deep that there's definitely enough room for most indie decks. These aren't the thickest decks in the world, but as you can see, I'm not going to be able to get the last card out. Damn you, happy squirrel. As you can see, there's a lot of space in them. So much so that I managed to get both of those decks in, which I was happy about. I just want to lighten the load because it looks very boring here. If you want to see this properly, then go to my Alter Space video, which is pretty new, and go and have a look-see, and I'll show you it from different angles. But I will pick it up and show you the design because it's divine. Her craft skills are amazing, and when I get bored and I don't want it to have that on show anymore, I've got a gorgeous single moon on the other side, and they come in different designs. That's really me this month. I've pretty much focused on learning and starting readings, and it's been really awesome. I've really felt I've always enjoyed reading for myself. I've always enjoyed tarot cards. I always grew up around this form of divination, and it's been really nice to actually put this into work together and giving me something to do as well and re-engage with my brain and other people. So that's been really fun. That's really been my favourite thing about this month, and the fact that I'm actually going to start getting some answers hopefully about some of the health stuff, which is super duper. Thank you for listening to me ramble, lovelies, and I'll say bye for now, and I'm sure I'll be back soon. Bye.